Discussing tonight compatibility versus chemistry. This topic is very important, especially if you're out here and you're dating and you're meeting people, because a lot of individuals that you meet, you will have a level of attraction to them, and some individuals think that attraction is all you need in order to sustain a relationship, and it's not. We see that all the time. That there's people that are very attractive, but it's just not enough to keep a relationship going. So tonight I'm going to about this topic. This is a topic that I discussed in detail probably over a year ago, and I discussed it based upon one night as I had a person that I was dating, kind of seeing, and we had a conversation one night, and it was a question that came up to me in my mind was whether this person was someone that I was um, compatible with, or if this was just chemistry. And so, based upon waking up, I woke up in the middle of the night, and whenever I wake up, I know that it's something I should be writing or I should be looking into. And the topic of compatibility versus chemistry was kind of the topic that I started studying. And after studying it that night, I saw where me and this individual, we had a lot of chemistry as far as the attraction was there, and physically, I found this person very attractive, and so on and so forth. But anything outside of that, it wasn't going to go anywhere. And so to me, I felt like it was best to face the facts early on instead of dragging something out and wasting time and getting emotionally or them getting emotionally involved in all of the things that go along with that. And so I told him from the door, I said, look, this is something that, yes, it's entertaining, and yes, it's very intriguing, and I'm very interested, but I know that it can only go but so far, because to me, it's important that you let people know where you stand. You let people know, where you are concerning certain things, because what it does is it would save them a lot of heartbreak and a heartache. And also the same with you. If people are understanding enough to give you a heads up and let you know where they stand, it'll do the same thing for you. So when you look at this topic, because I'm going to get into this and I'm going to go over this a few things real quick, and then I'm just going to move on. There was a particular young lady that was coming into my lives on YouTube, and she asked about this question a couple days back and said, "Yo, can we have that conversation?" And that's part of the reason why I'm talking about this, because I'm pretty set on understanding where this topic falls and where it is. But one of the things that's important with when you're looking at chemistry versus compatibility is chemistry is absolutely needed in any relationship that you have. It's needed in our friendships, it's needed in our business associates, and it's definitely needed in our romantic relationships, those that we're involved with on a personal level. But when you look at the definition, chemistry represents that it refers to the immediate and often instinctive feeling of attraction. So when you look at the part of the definition, and I just went to Google and I said, "Hey Google, give me the definition of what chemistry is, and then also give me a definition of what compatibility is concerning a romantic relationship." And this is what it came up with. This has nothing to do with my opinion or how I feel. This is what Google, who's not partisan to any side, it's probably a neutral place. This is what they came up with. So chemistry refers to the immediate and often instinctive feeling of attraction. So the first thing that glares and that kind of jumped out to me was that it deals with the immediate and often instinctive feeling of attraction. So when you look at chemistry, chemistry is based upon a feeling. And we all know that song, oh feeling. And it's all based upon a feeling. And see, the problem with that feeling is there's so many chemicals that are being released in our minds when we first meet someone, the newness and the freshness and the endorphins and all the love toxin, the love cocktail that's dropped into our brain, and we're on this high, and we're just and so in love, or we think we're in love, but we're in a place of high level of chemistry. We're just in a place of chemical indoctrination at that point. And so it's the type of thing that it's all the chemicals that are naturally in our body that's being released. And so when you meet this person, you look at him and you see him and you're thinking, wow, yowza, this person is attractive. They got their stuff going on. It's the way they talk. It's the way they walk. It's the way they carry themselves. It's the way they present themselves. It's the way they dress. It's their conversation. It's all these things. But all of these things are things that can change. One of the things that I try to share with people when you're dealing with chemistry versus compatibility is compatibility represents the long haul, the long road. Chemistry represents that it's this is according to AI. This is according to Chat GPT. I put in there, I said, Chat GPT, how do you, I mean, what, give me a clear definition of what is the difference between chemistry versus compatibility, and also allow it to refer to romantic relationships. And so how you doing, H. Johns? So in the process of me putting that in, ChatGPT gave me this definition. It says it refers to the immediate and often instinctive feeling of attraction. So it's part of it is just the attraction, that the natural and normal attraction that is in all of us from birth, from the time you were probably 7, 10, 12, depending on who you are, 12, 13. I know by the time I was 10, 12, whatever, I started looking at girls a little different. I was like, yo, she's attractive. So it's something that was innately placed in us. The problem, the problem with this is this, or not, I can't even say the problem, but the challenge with this is sometimes we think that because we feel something about someone because of the way that they look and how attractive we are to them, that we think that this is the person, and it's not. It's just the chemicals. It's the chemical. And if you've been in relationships, you understand what I mean. When you're initially brand new in a relationship, you have this high going on where you're just excited about being with this person. You like to call them and you like to talk to them, but all of that is based upon all of the newness of the relationship, those new endorphins and all of the new chemicals that are being released, which makes you excited about being around that person. And so, and this all ties, again, it ties also into the chemistry part, because it's based upon a feeling of attraction, which sparks a connection between two people in a sense of excitement and curiosity and emotion. And there's an arousal that's instituted or initiated based upon those things. So this is why the conversation is effortless when you first meet that person, because most of us, if we're really honest with ourselves, handsome or beauty bias or beauty, what do they call it? Beauty biases or whatever they call it. I forget what they call it. But where people get beauty privilege, that stuff is real. We cannot think it, well, it's not. It's absolutely real. If you're someone that's attractive and you go to other places and people find you attractive when they're serving you or giving you something or doing something for you, if they are in a position to give you something or do something for you, what they've found is that those people that they find more attractive, they're willing to go above and beyond for, because of the attraction alone. Just because of the attraction alone. And so when you look at this, it says that can initiate, based upon the interaction, it being effortless, based upon mutual maybe sense of humor and the conversation, the flow of the conversation. But the flow of the conversation, all these things that are going on, are all the initial parts. I'm saying these things to say that chemistry is important, because chemistry is the first part. It's the first piece of how we meet someone. But our true compatibility doesn't ever even come into existence, because I'll get into that definition according to chat, until later on down the road, because it's going to be tested based upon our mutual beliefs and efforts and longevity and things like that. So you need chemistry in order to get to compatibility, but you can be I mean, so it's just part of the package, you know. But they're two different things. And so the thing with attraction that I thought about is that all of us have different things that we consider to be attractive. Some men that I know that in my family, because I was thinking about that, they find women that are heavier attractive. Other men in my family, they find women that are smaller, thinner, like the Janae Eikos, attractive. Some people find women that are aggressive attractive. Some find women that are very soft and soft spoken. And it's the same thing with women that find men attractive. Some women find men that are real big and burly attractive, and they got the big guts. Other women like guys that are more fit in their six pack. And so everybody has preferences. It's all based upon a preference that you've chosen for whatever reason. Cause I mean, it's all based upon some chemical makeup in your body and what triggers you and makes you more interested. It's all based upon what do you find interesting? What interests you? What makes you attracted to that person? Some people, like myself, I'm attracted to people's minds. Yes, their face and how they're shaped and their way they, but their minds, the way they think. Are they an intelligent person? Are they a person that can hold a conversation besides pop culture? Are they a person that understands the difference between, being having an adult conversation and everything's not about foolishness and nonsense, but they navigate through both and understand. But there is a part that we have to play that's serious, important. But there's a part that you can be fun, and so it's about learning the things that are attractive to you. It's femininity attractive. It's someone that's curious about life. Is that attractive? Someone that doesn't stimulate your mind. That's not attractive to me. But that might not be a big deal to you. This is part of what I'm trying to say. This is why everybody is going to match with someone that's different. Because if I'm with a person over a period of time, and I know this based upon my marriage, one of the ways that we split and started showing that we were going in different directions is I was growing in different areas and learning new and different things, and she stayed where she was. That's not me putting a slight on her or saying anything negative about her. I'm saying that was the observation that I end up learning later on. I made the mistake. We made the mistake because we were so physically attracted to each other. We met each other in our 20s. When I met my ex, she had a haircut like Halle Berry with the little whatever they call it, the scissor. What is that cut that women get? They're even getting it now again today. It's the little short cut with the big earrings. And so she had that look that I liked. So it was just that. It was more than that than anything. And then we just combined that with the fact that we both of us decided to start going to church. But just because we went to the same church, that does not mean that we had all of the same beliefs as far as everything that was important. Even rearing kids, because we didn't really talk about that in detail. Our thoughts were different on rearing kids based upon us coming from different backgrounds. Our thoughts on sex initially were the same, but it changed over a period of times. No, I hated finger waves. I hated finger waves. It wasn't finger waves. It's that cut that women are getting right now. It's a lot of women are getting it. Older women, younger women, they're getting it, and it's a shorter cut. I can't think of the name of it, but yeah, pixie. Yeah, I think women that have the right face and get that is it's just gorgeous. But the femininity that goes along with it, the way they dress, the way they carry themselves, do they have a level of charisma where they're not, you don't have to reassure them of everything. And so getting back to my point, and so when I look back, I'm looking at the mistakes that I made. Most of the relationships that I was in, um, all of them, I got to be, I'm going to be completely transparent. Every single one of them, when I think back, all the women I dated before marriage, my marriage, and even the two I dated after divorce. And I say dated as far as like I saw them. When I noticed that there was no possibilities of a long-term relationship, I told them from the door. I said, "Look," I said, of course I'm attracted to you, so on and so forth. I said, but where my life is, there's certain people that can be in my life, and there's some that can't. And I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm saying that where my life is going. And this is part of compatibility. The person that's in the boat with you, they have to be growing in the same direction. And so the person, if you have a vision, you have to be clear on that vision. And so there's certain things that you have to be able to see, and it has to be crystal clear. And because I know the vision of where my life is going, because I've been shown over and over again, I've gotten prophetic words, and I've seen certain things, I've dreamed certain things, and I just know. Like, I don't know exactly how everything's going to play out, but I just know that I'm going to be in certain places, and I'm going to have to do a lot of traveling. And so there's a certain person that I'm going to need to be with. And so when I was telling the person that, she didn't want to hear it because she was going based upon, oh, well, we like each other and this, that, and the other. I said, I understand all that. I said, but it's going to save a lot of headaches down the road if we address this stuff now. Because you can't just push it down the road and don't think that later on you're not going to get the repercussions from it. I did that. Me and my ex did that in our marriage. We know that she knew because I was vocal in what I stood, but she wasn't really vocal, because that was another one of the issues. The way that person communicates, it's absolutely critical that your communication levels is aligned. The way you resolve things is aligned, because if it's not aligned, then that's going to be a part of of contention. The contention in relationships is because it's a compatibility issue. I had a young lady that came on one of my lives. I was on TikTok. She came in one of my lives, and I was talking about this topic. She's a Muslim young lady. She's dating a Christian young man, and in the process of me talking to her, talking about this topic, the process of me talking to her or I was talking in general, like I'm talking now about this topic. She began to say, "Well, do you think that me and my Christian boyfriend can make it?" I said, "Look, I'm not going to answer that question, but I'm saying, think about it in terms of this. When you have kids, what are you going to teach your kids as far as the religious beliefs?" I said, "Because both of you sound like you're pretty rooted and grounded in what you believe. This is where compatibility comes in, because you and that person have to be aligned in the major issues, your spiritual or religious beliefs, the way you're going to raise your kids, or if you want kids, where you're going to live, or where you're not going to live. I mean, the things that are important issues." And so part of that is you understanding what are the things that are important to you. What's important to you? Like to me, I know that I'm going to live in an island, one of the ABC islands or something like that. I'm going to live in one of those islands really, really soon. By the time this coaching business is off and running and off the ground, I'm going to take this computer, the laptop, the lights, and I'm taking my blacktail to an island. I'm going to rent a place there, and I'm going to live there because I can retire there. I already know that. This is what I'm saying. So if I meet a person and she wants to still live in USA full time, that's going to be a problem, because I'm not going to live in USA full time. I'm going to live in an island. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to drive a Jeep or something. I don't care what it is. I'm going to have my shirt off. I'm going to work out. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to eat a lot of food. Because I know what I want for the remainder of my life until the day that I pass. And so there's certain things that I'm not going to compromise on. So if she has ties here in the USA where she can't leave, I have kids here. I have 3 sons here, but my 3 sons will have the access and the ability to come to where I'm at if they want to. Get on a plane and come see me, and bring my grandkids with you. But I'm not going to live and see. It took me a while to get to that point. I'm sharing this with y'all because you have to know what you want. I tell this to most of the people that I coach. When you know what you want, then you know what you don't want. This is why being compatible versus chemistry is important. I talked to this one, because again, I only talked to 2 people since I've been divorced in the 4 years. And this one person, I told her that same thing I just told y'all. She's like, "Oh, well, I have my daughter here and we live in town." I said, "Well, I'm just telling you, it's going to be a problem, because I'm not going to not do what I want to do what you want to do. Because I'm telling you from the door, this is what I want. So if it's not going to work for you, then we're wasting each other's time. And I don't want to waste your time, because I respect you as a person. I actually like you, and I respect you. And because of that, and I'm transparent, I'm telling you the things that I want versus what I don't want, because I know what I want. People talk about living the easy life. That's what I want. I want to live the nice. This is why I'm built. Part of the reason why I'm building this business, because I can help people, but I don't need to sit in New Jersey to help people. I can go to China for a year, and I want to move around. I want to do things. I want to experience life. I lived in New Jersey my whole entire life, from the day I was born till today. I moved to Delaware for about a year, helping a friend of mine do a commercial project. I don't want to be here. I want to be somewhere else. I want to move about as I want to, based upon being free. I raised my sons. I don't have any responsibilities here. My parents, they're the last piece that I had to get and resolve, because they're the ones that I had the conversation with. I said, and they told me, "Look, don't sit around here waiting around for us. We're old. We already lived our life. Go live your life." Well, you can compromise. You can compromise, H. Johns. I'm talking about my life. I'm talking about the experiences that I went through. So for me, my decision is my decision. So I don't have to compromise. I don't have to compromise, because I could go by myself. whether she went or not, which she didn't go. And I'm good with that either way. This is part of what I'm saying. You have to know what you want. You're talking about compromising, but there's certain things that are issues that you're going to know whether it's something that you want to compromise on or you don't. Spirituality, I'm not compromising on where I am spiritual. Does she have to be the exact same belief as me? No, but there's certain things that when you look at, but that just shows that whether the person is compatible or not. My parents made it and had been married for 60 some years, 65 or whatever years, based upon both of them being compatible in all of the important issues. My mom was 100% support of my dad in the ministry that he was a pastor in. She didn't sit around saying, "Oh, I don't want to be a first lady and I don't want to do that." No, this is what I'm trying to share with y'all. Of course, there should be compromise in a relationship, but there's certain things in a relationship that you cannot compromise on because certain things are in alignment with what that person desires. And I shouldn't have to compromise, but no one else is compromising. It's compromising is both ways. It's not one way. And so when you look at that, yeah, I understand that, but I'm giving you the example. I'm giving you the example of what can't come, what is, what is chemistry versus compatibility. Yes, me and this person had a lot of chemistry, but we weren't compatible. We weren't compatible spiritually. We were compatible physically. We weren't compatible in any other way. So when you look at this, it says refers to the immediate and often instinctive feeling of attraction. So it's got to be more than attraction. Why? Because most of the movies that we watch, the leading man and the leading lady are attractive, and there's usually chemistry. Have you ever seen Michael B. Jordan and that young lady, Tess, I believe? I don't know her real name, but Tess in that movie Rocky. Those two have a lot of chemistry. They have a lot of chemistry. It's almost unnatural, the amount of chemistry that those two have. It almost feels like those two should be together. If you've ever seen them. When you look at Love Jones, Nia, I think Nia Long and Tate. I don't remember his first name. Something Tate. Them two in that movie is part of what made that movie. That's why you have people that go or that can quote certain parts of the movie because of the chemistry between the two people. And just because Lorenzo Tate, and just because there's chemistry between the two people, that don't mean that because the chemistry is tied the majority of it is tied all into attraction. And y'all, I'm just trying to tell y'all that attraction is not enough. If I would be honest, and if you're going to be honest, if you're online, the amount of people that pop through my pages, I see probably 20 women a day that are attractive. At least 20 women a day that are attractive. So you can't use that as a gauge to say, oh, this is a person that I'm supposed to be with. This is the main point that I want to stress, y'all. It's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. Social media, it's good. It's a big point. The thing with attraction is attraction can wear off. When you're truly compatible with someone, it doesn't matter. You can actually fulfill the vows where it says that you can love, honor, and cherish that person because in sickness and in health until death do you part, because you're in it for the long haul. Because whether they gain weight, whether this happens, whether they get sick, none of that stuff matters. The thing with chemistry is when different difficulties happen, that's when people fall out because they were in it for that moment. Put attraction in the comments. Put attraction in the comments. Thank y'all for yeah. Love ain't enough. Love ain't enough. You have to have other things. And thank y'all for tapping the screen. Thank y'all for joining in. Thank you for each and every one of y'all in here. And thank y'all for your points. Tribe different. Yeah. Where does compassion come in? Yeah. Or compromise. Yeah. And that's true. That's true, H. Johns. Yeah. And that's another good point, Lataya. You can't change another person's will. You have to know what it is that you want. This is why I started out with that. You have to know what you want versus what you don't want. You know, when you've sacrificed a large part of your life for others, at some point you have to consider yourself. You have to consider yourself. Thank y'all for putting the traction in the comments. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Again, you don't have to agree with me. I'm sharing my view on what and I'm going to give you examples based upon my life and different things that I've experienced and I've seen, or different people that I've coached with. And so the thing with that is that if you go back and you do an analysis of your relationships, were your relationships based upon chemistry, or were they based upon, I'm going to give you the definition. I'm going to give compatibility. This is what I went to Chat GPT and I put this in. I said, Chat GPT, give me your best definition on compatibility versus chemistry in a romantic relationship. This is what it gave me for compatibility. It said the degree by which two people align over time. So the first point that we need to look at with compatibility is that compatibility is something that it takes time. Put time in the chat. It takes time to develop. It's not going to happen immediately. It's going to be built, or it's going to come based upon time, the amount of time that you're with that person, and also how much you two have conversated and built the wedge into the areas where you probably were far apart, that you've come into some level of agreement. And so that's why your conversations and your communication is important. This is why when you hear me talk about that, you have to talk about everything with your person before you actually commit fully. You got to talk about intimacy and your expectations. You got to talk about money. You got to talk about raising kids. I mean, you got to talk about any and everything. And you got to sit down and actually think about this stuff. You got to actually talk about all of these things, because these things are going to be future arguments if they are not discussed, because the arguments are going to be based upon assuming that this person is going to do X, Y, and Z, assuming that they want to do 1, 2, or 3. And many times they're not going to, because life is going to get in the way. When you make a commitment to do something, there's always some part of life that's going to get in the way to try to hinder it. It will be tested based upon life. So compatibility is the degree by which two people align over time in values and goals. So this is part of what I was explaining earlier when I was talking about the things that I'm going to do with my life. Those are part of my goals. I was sharing some of my goals. So the person that I'm going to align with has got to share my goals. If they don't share my goals, it's not going to work, because I'm not compromising my goals like I did in the past. I did that for 30 years. And now I'm starting over. So I want to experience some time in my life where I'm going to enjoy the things that I want to do. So it's got to align with your values and your goals. Your values are important. So this is how you can make your list to understand your compatibility list. Your compatibility list should be, what are your values? What are the things that you value most of all? That's something that you would have to think about. What are your values? Your spirituality or religion? Is that your value? Is money your value? I mean, what are your values? Commitment, is that a value? Honesty, transparency. What are the things that you value most? What are the non-compromises? Are you the type that you'll stay even though this person has violated your trust and have been disrespectful? Again, you got to look at, what are your values? What are the things that you're esteeming as important, right? And your goals. Communication style. Communication style is part of this definition of compatibility, because you have to make sure that you communicate with a person effectively. My past relationship that I was married to, we did not communicate the same way. I came from a household with 4 other siblings, a mom and dad. She came from a single family household with her and her mom. Me and my siblings, and if we had a disagreement, we would blah 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 blah, blah, kind of lay each other out and tell each other to go jam it and such and such and whatever, so on and so forth. We're good. The person that I was married to, her and her family, they would have a disagreement and they wouldn't talk to each other for 3 months. And then one day they would come home and give the other one a coffee, and then all of a sudden that's how they would resolve the issue. So this is part of what I'm trying to share with y'all. Everybody handles things differently. So you have to know, what is your communication style? How do you handle things? But also, how is the person that you're getting involved with? How do they handle issues? Are they the type of person, man or woman, that when they get angry, they go into violence? Not every person knows how to get angry without punching somebody or cussing somebody out or acting like they're a 5-year-old. Not every person that's 30 or 40 or 50 is grown enough to know how to handle themselves when they're angry. So this is part of what I'm trying to say. Everybody handles things different. Are you compatible with this person? Are you compatible with the way that they handle problems? Are you compatible with their values? Or do their values align with yours? My values is the hearts of people and helping people and loving people, but also having a life of my own. Do their values match up? Right? Communication style, lifestyle. Some people need to live big lifestyles. Does that align? And so, because if it doesn't align, then there's always going to be the constant nagging or the constant working or the constant whatever. And so it's going to cause arguments. I hope y'all can see this. When you don't align with a person, that's probably why you argue with them all the time, because one person is trying to convince the other person of the way that they should feel or what they should think. Because y'all know that you're not aligned. That doesn't mean that you're bad people. You're just two people that are not supposed to be together long term. Maybe you're supposed to have a fling. I don't know. And I'm not trying to be funny or trying to judge anybody, but I don't know. It requires a level. Lataya put emotional maturity, but I say just maturity in general. There's required a level of maturity in these relationships that many people are not equipped to have or to deal with. They're left enough of maturity to say how they feel and what they're thinking without it being from a place of being angry. Because when we say things from a place of being angry, we usually say it from a place of being venomous, and there's always insults and different things that are tied into it, instead of coming from a place of just sharing what you're feeling. Because if you're with a person that really, really loves you or that really cares about you, they're going to want to know the things that are hurting you or the things that you want help with or the things that you feel, how you feel about things and how you think. They want to know how you feel and think because you're important to them. If someone is sacrificing themselves to you, their lives and they're committed to the relationship, they want to know how you feel and how you think. Thank y'all for the taps and the likes. Thank y'all for subscribing and liking the channel and following the channel. Appreciate it. They want to know how you feel and how you think. Put maturity in the chat. Yeah, emotional maturity. Emotional maturity. Put maturity in the chat. Thank y'all. Appreciate that. And so part of this is, is this person truly compatible to you? And you'll know it because if your values don't add up. I was out with a person that same person that I dated for a little bit of time. And we end up going to Atlantic City because I live in New Jersey, the South Jersey part. And in the process of going to Atlantic City, thank y'all for the taps and thank y'all for the hearts and the hundreds and all the stuff that's coming up on the right hand side. We went to Atlantic City, and this was in like the winter when the off season. And in the process of going there, we went to this. There was this place that you had to go to park. There's always a place you have to park in order to get out and go walk around and go see. There's something that she wanted to see on the boardwalk. And so we went there and we're walking on the boardwalk and, I had to find the parking. And by the time I got the parking and I noticed that, this is off season there, things are a little bit hard. And so I drove into the parking lot that was close to the boardwalk. And I end up going towards the casino and I talked to some people and I was like, yo, where's the manager, the guy that runs the lot because you got to pay for parking. Oh, well, just worry about that on the way out. I'm searching for this guy, looking and so on and so forth. Guy's not there. His employee or whatever, no one was there. So I ended up, okay, let me go we went up on the boardwalk. It was freezing cold, which I told this young lady. I was like, yo, this New Jersey cold is different from where you're from, yo. She's like, oh, yeah, so good. Everybody knows everything. And I was like, I'm just telling you. I said, and it's different near the shore than it is down back where I live. The closer you get to the ocean, you're going to get that breeze off of there. And then it's cut. I know it because I worked down there when I started in construction years ago. She didn't listen. She wasn't dressed correctly. And I told her, I try to warn people. People got to start listening to me. And thank you, Renee. Thank you for the head slaps, Renee. and she wouldn't listen. And so she down there and she's cute and we walking and she said, oh, I'm cold. And I'm looking at her like, yeah, I know, I told you. And so we only stayed for a little while. And then we tried to go in the casino, and the one casino wasn't even open yet because it was too early in the day. And it was just all this stuff went on. And so we said, look, let's get out of here. So in the process of leaving, I'm still trying to find the guy that owns this lot, and none of his people are there. And so on the way out, they had this slot where you could try to pay for it to get out. And she's like, why are you paying? Ain't nobody here. And we had this big conversation. This is what I'm talking about, values. And this woman is a business owner. Why are you trying to pay that? No one's there. She wasn't arguing, but I'm saying this is what she was saying. Why are you trying to pay that? Ain't nobody's there. And da-da-da-da. I said, because I know that I feel like it's the right thing to do. I said, because I use this man's service. Or this woman's service, whoever owns this. I use their service. So I'm part of using their service. I want to pay for it because to me, that's the appropriate thing to do. As a business owner, to me, that's just the appropriate thing to do. And long story short, so I'm putting my card in there and I'm trying to pay for it. And it's not working. I called the guy and so I ended up kind of paying it for it. And then when I left from that day forward, she said, "Oh, I'm going to call you Mr. Goody Two Shoes, not Goody Two Shoes, but Mr. Do the Right Thing." I said, I appreciate that. I said, because that's my goal. I want to do the right thing. That's of high value to me to do the right thing. Because I believe part of my values, and this is why I'm saying, do you know your values? One part of my values is I believe that you will reap what you sow. If you sow things, you do things to other people intentionally, you're going to get it back in your life in one way or another. And it's easy to run off and, we got away and this, that, and the other. But then later on, when it comes down the road and something slaps you upside the head and somebody takes advantage of you, because the owner probably didn't know that the person wasn't there, because that's how employees are. If you're not over there standing over them, a lot of times they're off gallivanting and doing whatever, right? And so this is part of why I'm talking about compatibility versus chemistry, because from that point on, I kind of looked at her like, oof, I started taking notice of certain things. I'm starting to notice that me and this person aren't really aligning on certain things. And I'm not saying that it was a major thing, but I'm saying you got to look at all of the little things. What someone does when no one's watching is important. Just because no one wasn't there, all that represented is that there wasn't a physical body there that wasn't watching. Is H. John still in here? Because she wanted us to talk about this. Where's she at? She's still in here? What's up, Mirrors? Woo! What up, Mirrors? And so it's not a big deal. Self-explanatory. Yeah. And so with all of this is you're going to have people that are going to come into your life that are going to be really, really attractive. The thing is, take your time and go through your process with them, get to know them, because the biggest key with compatibility is you're going to have chemistry with them, and then over a period of time, it's going to go into compatibility if they're the right person. If they're the person that aligns to where you are spiritually, the way you think about money, your ethics, your morals, your values, what are the things that are most important to you? Then you're going to move ahead. You can move ahead with that person because you both are rowing in the same direction. You're rowing in the same direction, because I'm a believer also, and I'm not telling you to believe this, that we get the benefits or lack thereof of the person that's in our lives. If they're doing things against other people and we're connected to them, especially married, we're going to get the repercussions or the sprayed shots off of that, because you're connected to that. To me, because you're connected to that person. How can't you get a stray off of that? So if you're with a person and your life is hard and it's hard to do things, and maybe they're not doing everything that they need to do right. I was with a person like that before. That's why I'm trying to warn you all of this, because you could be trying to do the right thing, but they're not doing the right thing. So think about that. You're trying to do the right thing, but they're not doing the right thing. So where do you think you're going to end? Somewhere in the beginning. You're going to get some good things, some bad things, some good things, some bad things, some good things, some bad things, some good things, some bad things. Do y'all get the point? Put that in the chat. Good things, bad things, good things, bad things. Good things. Do y'all get the point? This is why you got to make sure you align. Are you aligned? Not just are they cute and do they have a nice physical body and are they, great speaker or are they a great this or a great that? And, do they have the little cute cut or whatever? Because again, you know, it deals with the communication style. Communication style is a big one because I wasn't used to being around people that if there was an issue that they would not talk about it. That frustrated me because I was used to just telling one of my siblings what the whatever it was, like, yo, such and such, bada bing, bada bang, bada bang, and they could say whatever they want, and then like 5 minutes later, it's like, okay, boom, yo, I need to borrow your shirt. We were cool after that because, and then when I think back on it now, that's one thing that my now ex said when early on when we were kind of like dating. She's like, I don't understand how your family does that. Y'all can argue with each other and like smack each other in the head or whatever. And then you're borrowing their shirt 5 minutes later. And I didn't think about it because the stuff that I'm sharing with y'all now, I did not know this when I got married as a 20-some-year-old. This is the difference between me now compared to then. Yeah, but then no one knows who these people are. No one knows who these people are. That's why I'm just sharing stories. I could be sharing just random stories. You don't know that. I'm messing with you, Mears, but no one knows who these people are. Like even when I wrote my book, I didn't give actual names of people and things like that. I gave you know, that's all I'll say. You know, out of trying to do the right thing, trying not to hurt people. That was part of it. Not wanting to, because when you love people, you still don't want to hurt them, regardless of what they've done. You still don't want to hurt them. And yeah, thank you. It's something that you can do, Johns. As a suggestion, um, it's something that you can do because the person that whoever any of you are going to be with, your communication is one of the most important things because I was around people that talked. Because again, my father was a minister, my grandfather was a minister, so they talked. That's all they did was talk. I was quiet, so I was one of the more quiet ones out of all of them. And so when I think about the way that my siblings and myself, the way that we learned how to navigate our differences, that doesn't work for everybody because many people they hold grudges. They hold grudges against each other based upon things that were said, and we would say hurtful things to each other. You know, all it did was it gave me a hard shell concerning that. Where like even now, I tell a lot of my friends, they're like, "Oh, yeah, there's it." I'm very hard. I don't get offended. It's very hard to offend me. People get offended by race and all these things. That stuff don't offend me. I don't take it personal. You can say whatever you want. You can cuss. I'm not offended by any of that stuff. I don't care. I can't control the way that you talk, the way that you act, and the way that you do. And that's part of it too. Amir's bluntness. That's the way me and my siblings were. We were blunt. And so being with a person and us not having the same communication style, she would shut down. And so when I'm trying to talk to her about something, she would shut down. And so over a period of years, what I noticed later on, I didn't notice this while we were in it. I noticed it later on is that I said in my mind, I'm done. I'm not going to talk about nothing. I could care less. Because I was tired of beating my head against the wall, trying to get through this person, trying to communicate, trying to ask them what's going on with this, what's going on with that, and how can we do this better, and how can we get better, and so I wasn't right for what I did, but I'm saying you understand where you are and the things that you do when you can sit back and do an introspection of what truly happened. That's why when I talk about this book, I wrote this book based upon introspection and looking at myself. Not pointing the finger at my ex, but looking at myself because healing it's not about everybody else. they were part of the process or part of the journey, but it's not about them. It's about us. It's about the things that we were supposed to gain from the experience. What were the things that I needed to learn? One of the things that I needed to learn was the difference between chemistry versus compatibility. Because me and her were our chemistry was through the roof. Again, we were in our 20s. We both were sexy. She was sexy and I was sexy. I'm just gonna put it on the record. We both were sexy. Okay. So what do you think's gonna happen? Yeah, it is offensive to some people to try to fix it, but if you don't fix it, then you won't be able to build a solid foundation because you're never resolving issues. And so when you don't resolve issues, they keep compounding. They just keep getting layered and layered and layered and layered. And if you don't, just not addressing things is not bringing a solution. It's adding to the problem. But that's part of maturity. Someone mentioned earlier about emotional maturity or maturity. You have to, part of the maturity is we have to be grown enough to just try. But that, it goes back to what we talked about yesterday, y'all. Knowing that your person is a safe place. The person that you're choosing, are they safe? Are they someone that you can actually feel comfortable knowing that you can tell them certain things, confiding them, say certain things, that they're not going to use it against you during that relationship. They're not going to sit there and blast you for, oh yeah, you did. No, they're going to come from a place of hearing and seeing you as you reveal yourself to them. If there's no true intimacy, there's no true transparency in that relationship. If there's no true, what's terrible? I'm not sure what that means, Mears. Oh, what's terrible? So my point is, if there isn't transparency, then there can't be any. You're not going to be able to. You're not. It's not going to allow you to be able to grow. Yeah. That's bad. That's because it's not going to allow the other person to ever feel safe, Mears. If there's always this process of using the things that they say and how they're, or what they said in the past, as far as a point of attack, instead of just saying, look, when you said this, you know, you said this, but I'm trying to show you that that's something that's cropping up or that's appearing now. This isn't me using it against you, but there's times when maybe you have to use that as an example. But I'm saying, as far as using it as an attack against that person, that's you can't, because they'll never feel safe with you. They'll never feel like they can truly open up to you. You know, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so these are things that, again, a lot of these things are things that I learned after the relationship was over. You know, and this is why I say that, just because both of y'all are sexy, that don't mean nothing. You know, that's Johns H Johns. That's wise, because you should do that over a period of time. It should not be something that you should just blur. It should be gradual over a period of time. Kind of showing yourself to that person, and because not everybody can handle transparency. Not everybody can handle transparency. I dated one person, and this individual, we went to a gathering with a bunch of her friends, and there was just a bunch of people there. And one of her girlfriends, I don't know what it was with this chick, but this woman she was on me. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. It could have been a test. I don't know what it was, but this woman was on me, and she showed me very, very clearly that something could have went on. And I ended up confiding and telling the person that I was with at that time. And when I told her, we had a big blowout, big argument about it. And I was accused of doing all these things, and, oh, you're cheating, and you're doing this and you're doing that. Instead of in my mind, I'm thinking, if someone came to my person, I would want her to tell me so that I could kind of cut ties with that person as a friend, because she was considering this person a good friend. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to I'm trying to, help you get rid of some of these people that are around you that aren't good people, and you're throwing it back at me. And I see now that she couldn't handle that. So I shouldn't have. There's sometimes that you can't say certain things that are transparent to some people because they're not in a position to handle it. And so it turned into this whole thing of, oh, well, you probably wanted to cheat and you did this and you did that. And no, that's none of that. None of that is true because, I've shown you the years that we've been together that when I am in a committed relationship, I'm in a committed relationship. But when I'm single, I'm single. There's a big difference. When I'm in a committed relationship, I'm in a committed relationship. I don't play about relationships because I don't play with people. I don't play with people. You wouldn't tell. You said if you were cheating, you wouldn't tell. You wouldn't tell me. She didn't have to tell me. She was trying to get me to cheat with her. What are you talking about? Well, you're probably a good listener, H. Johns. It resolved over a period of time, pretty quick. I'll say pretty quickly, because I'm the type that I'm not going to argue extensively and long time over a topic. I'll discuss it with you, and I want to come to some type of an agreement. That's where I'm at, because I believe that we're all of us are grown enough that we can even agree that we're going to disagree on the topic and move on. You know, I'm not going to get into all the stuff, and part of what I taught in this one lesson that I shared on TikTok was, the ways to argue correctly. And one of the things that kind of stood out in my mind when I think back on that lesson was that you don't want to get, yeah, but that you don't want to start or get into a disagreement with your person and then start doing personal attacks. That's one of the worst mistakes that you can make, because this isn't time to do a personal attack against that person. This is time to address the issue of what happened that has caused the divide. And so part of it is staying on task with the topic. All of the personal attacks and all the things that take place and all of the using certain jargon and all that stuff is distractions. Let's stay focused on what we're talking about. What are we talking about? Okay. Or this conversation that we're having, is it the goal of both of us that we resolve this in one way, shape, or form? And if we can't resolve it right now because maybe you're too angry or whatever, do you want to come back to this thing at a little bit later time? Think it through, have the conversation. Again, we don't have to agree totally, because that's part of being grown, y'all. Everybody on this live has come from a different background. I came from the country part, or from the rural part of New Jersey. I got friends of mine that are from the northern part of New Jersey, near New York. Everybody's different. I got people in here from New York, the Bronx. I got people from Alabama, Florida. You know, people from all over. So people are different. This is why I say the mannerisms are different. Even when I look at my three sons, all three of them are different. Same mom and dad, all three of them are different. Me and my siblings, all five of us are different. Two of us are closer, but all five of us are different. Our thought processes, the way we, just our ambition, and we're different people. And so, yeah, that's a good point, Mears. H. Johns, but I'm tired of listening. You're tired of listening? So stop asking questions. Really, H. Johns? That's a long time. Why so long? That's a long time. Equally yoked. Well, that equally yoked is just another word for having the same values. That's just basically saying, that you two have the same, your values are the same. Yeah, they'll do it. They'll do it, H. Johns. Yeah, they'll do it. Do y'all everybody in here, does everybody in here follow me on the other sites that I have? Because if you want, then I don't know if y'all are on TikTok. I can open up the panel. I don't know unless there's a way that I can open up the panel on this and bring people in. I have to see. I have to see if there's a way that I can open up the panels. Because what I would allow people to do, yeah, I have to find out. There's got to be a way. I've seen another guy that I follow. He had like a panel up, I think, of some sort. Why she get mad? Because it was a Lataya. It was a person. She considered it a personal attack on her. It affected her lack of belief in herself in certain areas. You'll be back outside. Look, stop that! Stop that! Don't be outside. Don't be outside. Please don't be outside. But yeah, Lataya. Again, not everybody is. Yeah, insecurities. Some people's insecurities are, and it's kind of like we talked about yesterday. If you're with a person and they're constantly asking you certain things and they're badgering you about y'all are funny. You ladies are funny. That is funny. Don't worry about the gender wars, y'all. Don't worry about that stuff. That stuff don't apply to you. You're learning different information. You'll meet good people and people that are about certain things. You don't have to worry about that. Gender wars is for them people that a lot of them people that are in the gender wars ain't going. They're not going to end up meeting anybody because they're going to spend all their time fighting against the other gender instead of finding someone that they match with. Why are you fighting something that you want? So yeah, insecurities is a big thing because it's part of how you'll meet people that will constantly accuse you of certain things that you're not doing, and they know you're not doing it, but their own insecurities or their own um, guilt based upon things that they are doing is part of it. So, y'all got any more questions? Man, we did another hour. I did another hour without even trying to. These hours are starting to add up, y'all. But yeah, I want to find out if there's a way. Yeah, an insecure person is very dangerous because they're going to keep you in a place where you're constantly yeah. Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that, Johns. Yeah. I just don't believe in it. I don't participate in it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out if there's a way. Because eventually one day I want to open up the boxes. So if you don't follow me on TikTok and Facebook or something else, it's gonna be hard unless I go to I'd like to open up the boxes where we can actually have conversations. Instead of y'all having to type, you can talk, you can say what you're saying. Oh.